Hi my lovelies, welcome back to my channel, and for everybody who is new, I'm Leorah and I'm so glad you found me. So welcome to today's video where we are going to talk about 3 Saints, Angels, Sinners palettes. Sweetie, I got all of them in PR, but I want to talk about them, especially about this one, because of course this one has been quite the big hit, I want to say. Honestly, these probably too, especially probably this one, the Kazzy palette, because it looks beautiful. But in any case, we're going to talk about this, and of course I'm also going to show you looks with all of these palettes. Okay, my dog is with me, so if in case he interferes, then you know what is happening. If you're not new here, then of course you know that I have a puppy here right next to me. He's the channel dog, and we are still getting used to this new situation. Now, I was really debating if I should do one of my kitchen floor reviews, and I kind of really like this because it's so much fun and it's so relaxed, and it kind of puts me also in a completely different place. The only thing that bugs me is that the color payoff when I'm filming with my phone is just not it, you know. So that's why I'm trying to film more here, but for the time being, of course, I cannot film makeup looks because it just takes too long. Sweeties, my makeup looks from the beginning to the end take anywhere between 1.5 hours and 2 hours, you know, just saying. So that is of course something that my puppy cannot handle, and that's why I am not doing makeup on camera right now, but of course at some point it will come back, you know. Okay, so if you've just found me, I'm Leorah. I'm a makeup artist and stylist living for colorful makeup and colorful styling. So of course feel free to check out my channel and of course my social media, which is linked in the description box down below, and subscribe because I would love to have you here. Now sweeties, let us talk about Saints, Angels, Sinners. You know that Saints, Angels, Sinners from the get-go, from the first time this brand appeared on social media, I was super interested. First of all, because I'm just in general like that, you know, I'm very interested in something that is new, that I've never seen before, and a name that kind of is like question marks, you know. I was like, what kind of a name is that for a makeup brand? What is behind that? I honestly still don't know. I should ask Darcy, who is of course the owner of Saints, Angels, Sinners, and by now she has also become one of my friends, and I really truly love her, and a lot of you love her too because she is just an amazing human being. Okay sweeties, so beyond that, of course, I have had quite the journey with that brand, and we're coming up to 1 year now, you know. Darcy, I think, launched her first palette, I want to say last year July, or yeah, last year June, not 100% sure, but you know, I basically have every single palette from Saints, Angels, Sinners because I got all of them in PR, I have to say, and Darcy has really blessed me. So I'm not keeping anything from you, sweeties, but of course I cannot be bought, and if there is something that I don't like or I think could be done better, I would say so. There is also something where I will say that today, okay? So just saying. Okay sweeties, but I never mean any harm. For me it is only that I want the best, you know, the best for myself, of course, but also of course the best for the brands, and also for the collab partner, which is in this case of course Gourmande. That is the one that of course came out in collaboration with Saints, Angels, Sinners with this palette, the Follow Your Dreams palette. Okay, so while I'm already holding this, let us just look at this palette. So first of all, this is the outer packaging, which is really nice, and of course also like really dreamy, and when you think about the name of course of that palette, it kind of so fits, and it's really pretty. And then here we have the color scheme. Okay, I have to say, first of all, size wise this is way more my thing than the smaller palettes, and here of course we have a 6-pan palette, which is the Jello Mold palette, and then also the Kazzy palette is a 9-pan palette. We're gonna still talk about those, but size wise this is absolutely like way more my thing because it gives me more to do, it stimulates my brain a little bit more, it keeps my interest going, you know, and I really like that. Also, just from glancing at this palette, just like the first glance, you see that there are those spots of darkness in the sense of depth in the palette, which for me personally is super important. If I have a palette where I feel that the overwhelming part of the palette is like mid-range or something like this, it's just it does not catch my attention. I need to have either a good amount of depth in the palette or overwhelming depth in the palette. Something too light, something too pastel-y, something that is too mid-range is just not for me. But that is very, very personal, and of course you can absolutely disagree with that because it's like personal preference, right? But here in this case you can see those spots of darker mattes, which is really, really nice. Also the fact that it is the mattes that are really the darkest shades, maybe with the exception of this one, which is one darker shimmer. But overall I want to say that this palette is absolutely made according to my preferences, even though I'm not the collab partner, you know. So this is of course also color scheme wise, it is very teal turquoise heavy. That of course you need to take into consideration if that is not a color that you're wearing, you know. But beyond that, I have to say that this is a beautiful palette with really, really nice performance. The mattes are consistently in all of these three palettes, they are consistently the same level of performance. Really, really nice, pigmented, everything is fine. Of course, especially when you're working on a primer, and I think honestly, is there anyone out there who is not working on a primer anymore? Like everybody's working on primers, right? So just saying that in the beginning of my YouTube channel in 5 years ago, it was still an issue. There were still people that were not using primers and they were wondering why my performance was like this. And when they then get themselves a palette and they use it, that their performance is not like this, you know. Also, of course, I have to say that I am usually going in with the darkest shade first, the darkest shade of the look. So that of course also does something. It brings a little bit more intensity and a little bit more, I don't know if color payoff is really the right word, but I'm just gonna call it that way. I feel like there is more oomph going on, oomph in the look, you know, and that is just something that I'm looking for and that I personally crave. When I'm already spending all that long time to do makeup, I want to have the oomph in the look, you know, because just like throwing on a super light shade and call it a day, that isn't just not really me, you know. So just saying that the performance of the mattes, super nice. There are different formulas here when it comes to the shimmers. Of course, you do have duochromes in this palette, and I have to say that this shade here, this is the shade Miracle, is probably one of my most favorite colors in this palette because it's really pretty. It is, I want to say that this is a duochrome that shifts between purple and fuchsia. You probably will not be able to see much of this. I'm going to try to do swatches for Instagram. I'm not going to include this here in the video because, you know, I just don't. Okay, but color wise, this is a spectacular color. Absolutely beautiful. I want to say though that performance wise, this is one of the not really drier shimmers, but they are a little bit thinner. When I compared, for example, with this one, which I used for the first time today, of course, color intensity is of course with that teal turquoise shade much higher. So it is not really a fair comparison. But when you compare the formulas, there is definitely a difference. This one here is way more creamy and buttery. And of course, you see how beautiful this is. And this one is just a little bit thinner. You know, that is a shame because I would have loved this one to stand out and just blow everybody's minds. You know, the color is spectacular. I just wish it would be that formula. I don't know what if that's possible or what the reasons are or how that is. I have no idea. I am not like in the background, like I have no information about this. Okay, beyond that, you also do have this one right here, which is also really beautiful. This is a very metallic shade. It's called Harmony. And also this one, when applied with the finger, it is beautiful. On a brush, it's a little bit hard to pick up, but here you can see that this one is also really pretty, and it's very foiled and metallic. And I really love this. But again, if you're applying it with maybe a silicone tipped brush or with your finger, you will have the best results. But with the brush, it is a little bit iffy. I tried to apply it it with a small concealer brush because I wanted to do a little bit of like more fine work, and it was a very, very long process. Let's put it that way, because it is a little bit flaky, and that of course doesn't work so well in that case. Now, staying power and opacity of most shades, again, with the exception of this one, unfortunately, but all of the other ones, as far as I can tell right now, are really, really pretty. Like this one is also pretty, but the opacity of all of them was really, 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 really nice. Now, again, for this one, I would have wished it would have been the same because it is just such a pretty shade, you know? Yeah, so I think this palette absolutely rocks. And of course, right now you're going to see the 3 looks that I've done with the palette, including also this one. So I don't have to zoom in. So I'm just going to give you all the 3 looks. And of course, right after, we're going to talk about the other 2 palettes. Okay, sweeties, I forgot to add one more thing with this palette, because there was also no staining, you know, no separating, no staining, no fading. I had absolutely no problem. And this was really, really amazing, because even when I used this shade, for example, there was no staining. Now, in today's look, I've tried this one for the first time. I don't know if there will be. In case there is, I'm going to try to put it here on the screen, but I'm not really expecting it, because why should there be no staining with this one and then there's staining with this one? I don't know. But in any case, if that is something that you need to know, then here you go. I did not have any staining or any problem with the formula in any capacity, in anything. Okay, now let us go to the Kazzy palette, where I have to say that this is such a beautiful palette. Look at this color scheme. Look at the depth, look at the range within just 9 shades. It is spectacular. Let me just get this a little bit closer to you so you can see that this is just so, so beautiful. You do have, of course, these darker mattes. Then this one is also a matte, but of course a little bit lighter. But I love this palette for these darker mattes, because it just brings it all out. I love this. This is so, so beautiful. And again, also the performance here of the matte shades is really, really pretty. Now, as of right now, when I'm filming this, I've done only 1 look with this one and also only 1 look with this one, because I'm a little bit pressed for time right now. So I'm doing my best, but I'm working on a lot of projects, and it's a bit hard to like do everything. And of course, maybe you know that I personally can only do 1 look per day, because it takes me a lot of time, and also because I want to wear my makeup and not just do looks for YouTube or for social media. So this is the reason why for now I have done only 1 look with this one, which you of course are going to see in just a second. So also here the performance is super, super beautiful. Also, when you just look at the shades, like really, let me also swatch that green one, because dear Lord have mercy with all of us, you know, like so, so pretty. Especially this one, it kind of shifts. It has a bit of a lavender shift to it, but the base is like super, super, super nice and blue. Absolutely stunning. And the shift is out of this world. This is so, so pretty. So this one, if you are, you know, leaning more towards like 9-pan palettes, I would absolutely recommend this one. This is so, so stunning. And also here the formula is very, very good. And I don't think that in this palette there is any shade that is too thin or anything. Also this one here, I don't know if you can see the shift. I hope you can. That this also is really, really pretty. Let me also maybe swatch the lighter shade for you. I'm just quickly cleaning off my fingers. And by the way, I'm so, so proud of Rex. He just curled up and went to sleep. He's getting used to it, you know? Okay, sweeties, this one is of course also a duochrome shade, and this one has a white base, and it has a bit of a turquoise shift, I want to say. But it has a very, very solid white base, which is really, really nice, because in a lot of cases, when you have shades like this that look white in the pan and then suddenly they're kind of clear and you only see the shift, you know, suddenly on the eye they kind of turn clear, and that's a little bit annoying me, at least, you know. I kind of really like to get what I see, you know. And this one is really pretty. It has a bit of a golden turquoise shift. You probably see more of the gold, but there's also a turquoise in it. Just saying that this palette, is this the best of them all? I almost want to say yes. I almost want to say yes. Okay, sweeties, then let's also, of course, look at that look that I have done with that palette. And right after that, we are, of course, going to talk about the Jello Mold palette. I should also say that, again, I did not experience any problems with the formula, neither like staining or creasing or anything. For all of those palettes, I can say that there was absolutely no issue. Okay, sweeties, this is of course the Jello Mold palette, and I believe that this one Darcy made this palette for Mother's Day, you know, because I think I remember that I read in a post that her mom used to make Jello and it was always in that mold, and this is like a nice memory or something. So this is the inspiration for the palette, and here you have, of course, the color scheme. Okay, let me also get this one a little bit closer to you, and of course this one is a 6-pan palette. You do get 3 mattes and 3 shimmers in this palette. I did one look which is very mauve-y. I did not use this one. I didn't. Maybe if I have more time, which is like, ooh, okay, but maybe this one and this one and this one could really create a nice look. But I basically used all of the shades besides this one, besides that greenish shade, olive green shade, which looks really beautiful. I just, again, didn't get around using it. Now, of course, as you know, 6-pan palettes are not my preference. I feel sometimes it is very hard to inspire me, but that is also, I think that is just my brain, you know. I kind of need abundance always. That has been an ongoing thing on my channel, that from the very beginning I was like, I want abundance, I want everything, you know. And of course, in a very small palette you cannot get everything. You will get a section of everything, but of course Darcy is coming out with a lot of these, and of course in every of those palettes you get a section of everything, you know. So, but what I have to say that, for example, this one and this one, these 2 shades are so stunning, seriously. Also, of course, there are duochrome shades, and they're really pretty. And also here again, super opaque. This one is a bit lighter, so it's probably a little bit harder for you to see. Let me just back this up. But I think they are really pretty, and of course you're also going to see that sexy smoldering look that I created with this palette in just a second. I really enjoyed this because these mauve tones, there is just something about it. I almost consider it as neutral, but it gives me a certain confidence. I don't know what it is, and maybe you want to let us know what you think about this in the comments. I just feel that there is something that is so sexy about these mauve tones, you know, like really. And of course also here you do have nice depth in the palette. Also really, when you think about it, a nice range overall, even though it is just 6 shades. Now let us talk about, wait, I need to dry my hands. Okay. Let us also talk about this shade here in the middle. This is called Mamacita, and this is, I really don't know exactly what this is. Is this a satin? Because it is not a real matte. It doesn't feel like it is a real shimmer. It might be a satin. So I might have to take back what I said in the beginning, that this has 3 mattes and 3 shimmers. I think this is not a real shimmer. There is like something satiny going on, which is not necessarily my preference. I used this in the look that you're going to see in the inner corner, which was really nice, but beyond that I'm not too much into shades like this. But of course in combination also with that olive green, that could be really nice, you know. But just saying, so for me the stars of the show were definitely the mauve tones, those two shimmer shades or duochromes, this one, and then of course these 2 mattes. This was my piece of cake, absolutely, so beautiful. So let us just take a look how the look turned out. Okay, sweeties, I know that my content is a little bit different these days. Oh, no staining, just saying, okay? My content these days is a little bit different, and of course also you're seeing not that much of me right now, which I personally super enjoy, because finally I have time for a few other things, which is so good for me. And I have to say that sometimes my anxiety level was like crippling me to the point of I cannot function anymore and I cannot get through the day. And now I am on a scale of like 0 to 100, and 100 being the worst concerning anxiety, I'm like at a 10. And that is so amazing, and I have not felt as good in years, you know? So this has been a super healthy step for me, to just step away a little bit from social media, not to go completely or to disappear completely, God forbid, but just to have also more things in my life, other things in my life, and even not doing makeup every day, not working every day. Because yes, when you do makeup for a photo shoot and it takes you 2 hours or 1.5 hours, it is work. It is work, you know? I am personally not doing makeup in order to relax. I cannot do that. I'm too perfectionist for that. And you know, when I'm scheduling a photo shoot, then it better be good, you know? So that's why I'm also just stepping away from makeup altogether once in a while, like 1 or 2 days in the week, just to give myself a breather, because I'm very competitive with myself, less so with other people, but with myself. And I kind of need to heal from this, you know? So this is what I'm doing, and I'm really enjoying this. So with all of that being said, I hope you found this helpful, even though it is a bit of a different concept right now, my makeup reviews. And yes, my makeup application on camera will definitely come back, but just saying, I hope that you still got some information out of this. And of course, you also saw the looks, and I hope that inspires you a little bit. All of the looks are already going live already. Some of them might be already, or they will come on my social media. Sweeties, don't forget to check me out there. Check me out there, because of course we can be connected there too. Besides that, definitely follow Saints, Angels, Sinners, because it is an amazing brand who has shown amazing growth within this first year of life, basically, or of existence, and also consistently has shown amazing color schemes when we just look at this one, you know, but also the formula has been consistently good, you know. Also, don't forget the lip glosses, because the lip glosses I'm also wearing, this one, this is the shade Love that I'm wearing today from Saints, Angels, Sinners. My most favorite lip glosses, they look like this. This is not the shade that I'm wearing right now, but this is how the components look. Don't forget to check those out, because you know, if you are a little bit older like me and you have problems with bleeding into fine lines and things like this, this is right now what I'm using all the time, because they don't bleed on me, you know. So you might have a good chance, of course, that they will work for you too. I don't know if they're available right now. It might be that they're coming back or something, you know. It's sometimes a little bit hard to tell, but that is what you can do. Check out Saints, Angels, Sinners, and of course show your support there, because Darcy is an angel on the platform and in this smaller indie makeup community. Absolutely, no questions asked. Okay, sweeties, this is what it is from me for today. Please don't forget to subscribe before you leave, because I would love to have you here, and I shall see you here on Wednesday, God willing, for my new makeup releases. And up until then, definitely go ahead and sparkle. Hugs and kisses. Bye.